Hello, thank you for taking the time to watch this short training video. My name is Anthony Angel and I will be covering the Credit Management Center, CMC, over the next few minutes. Right, let's start with looking at the setup of CMC. Firstly, we will need to set up the controls and permissions for our users in regards to CMC. So we will access Administration and System, and into Maintenance, and into User Profiles. On the front screen we can see there are two new options in here: Access Credit Management Company Details and See All Users Credit Management Actions. I'm logged in as the manager at the moment, so let's switch to the manager profile. I'm going to select both of the settings to on. Save the record. And relog on to the system. Once the users have been appropriately configured, we need to access the sales ledger, set options, and if required, adjust the keep credit history setting for the number of periods. It defaults to 24, but I can easily override that to 99 if so required. The keep credit history setting can also be specified at a customer profile level, as can be seen here. And of course, we could go into processing, and on an individual customer level, we can click on Action and their options and override the credit history on a per customer basis if required. Further maintenance records can now be created in relation to CMC. If we go to the maintenance section there, we can create credit management groups. This allows us to group customers together for a credit management center basis. So for example, we could come in here and we could create a brand new group, say the priority group, so that we can use this group and then filter the accounts together in CMC. We can also go into maintenance and we can create credit management action types. We could generate types such as a follow-up or maybe for negotiating. And of course, whilst creating action types, we'll also be able to create outcome types. Maybe for things such as agreed, part paid, etc. You can see with the various existing entries in the demonstration data, these can be tailored to your requirements. Once you have completed the maintenance section, we need to review the customer records. So into Sales Ledger Processing, we'll take Adams Light Engineering as an example. Firstly, we need to assess whether or not to override the Keep Credit History setting, as discussed earlier, found under the Customer Options section. And secondly, we need to review the terms. So if we go into Action and the Term settings, we can see that the credit limit field has been moved slightly, and it also now has a review date associated with it. This is also where we can apply the credit management group. I'm going to set it to priority, one that we set up earlier. Click OK and save the customer record. Of course, most of these settings can be changed and new analysis records created whenever required. Now that we have set up CMC, it's ready to use. So let's start processing. CMC can be launched from the Sales Ledger. There is a brand new icon for credit management. When we click on it, CMC launches and will default to the Company tab. However, remember, this will only happen if the user has been given access to the company information, like we set up earlier in the user profiles. Otherwise, the tab will be grayed out and the user will be sitting on the Accounts tab instead. So what can we actually see on the Company tab? This tab displays an overall company level view of all debt owed by your customers. There are easy to understand graphs of your overall financial status. These include a pie chart for total invoiced debt showing segments for overdue invoices, disputed invoices that are also overdue, invoices not yet due to be paid, and disputed invoices that are not yet due to be paid. There is also a pie chart for aged invoiced debt, showing segments for the current month, 1 month old, 2 month old, and 3 months plus. There's also a bar chart for turnover for the previous 12 months. Next to these great toggle charts is a bar chart displaying each customer's level of debt. This also offers a fantastic drill down facility to the accounts list view that show you the amount owed by each customer on a transaction level. There is also a section which provides a list of disputed invoices and outstanding actions. There are various financial ratios displayed. Company-based debtor analysis values are also shown in an interactive grid, which of course will allow easy copying and pasting into something like Excel if required. Below this is an analysis of promised payment values that are overdue, due to be paid today, and then various aging. From the Action menu, you can print any of the charts as on the form. You can send them to clipboard, print them, or even export the data to Excel. You also have the ability to print additional reports for disputed invoices, diary actions, or debtors analysis, with the option of exporting to Excel if required. Right, let's have a look at the Accounts tab. The Accounts tab displays a customer level view that lists the customers that owe you money. A number of options are available so you can control which accounts are displayed, and the tab is broken down into various interactive sections. This tab features a list of customer records displaying various values in an interactive grid and offering various filtering actions, whilst also featuring double-click functionality to take you to the Transaction tab for the respective account selected. There is also a list of customer actions for the selected customer with the option to include both outstanding and completed, with a box highlighting any accompanying notes specified. Then there are various contact details and financial status information for the customer record currently selected. You have a number of easy to understand graphs displaying total invoice debt for the selected customer, a pie chart for aged invoice debt, a bar chart for customer turnover, and a chart displaying promised payments. Please remember the charts are interactive, so double-clicking on a section of the chart will display the transactional information that make up the total for that section. There are various options available from the Action menu. You can tick one or more customers to change their credit limit, on-stop indicator, or their credit management group. The selection option can also be used in conjunction with applying various overdue filter settings and funneling the more important accounts. So let's see some of this great new Phase 1 functionality in action. First, let's apply a filter to only show the accounts with an overdue balance higher than $20,000. So, from Action, Overdue Filter, I want to filter accounts not by date but with a minimum overdue value of $20,000. Once I've specified the filter, I'm going to click on Action, tick all the accounts. From the Action menu, I'm going to select Credit Control. And from the following form, you can see that I can toggle the on-stop setting, as well as changing their credit limit. For now, what I'm wanting to do is apply the priority group to all the selected accounts. I'm going to click OK to process this through. I'm offered a publisher screen for an audit report. Close it, update the selected customer accounts, and you can see the immediate change in the grid. Let's concentrate on Adams Light Engineering. I'll highlight the account, action, and tick. I can re-enter the credit control, and I can make any changes on this individual record. For now, I'm going to set the account on stop. Click OK. I'll be offered the publisher screen again to publish an audit report, and confirm to update the customer account. You can see the grid has been updated immediately, and if I go into Sales Ledger Processing, if I Adams Light Engineering, I can see the account is on stop, and of course the standard functionality of an automatic note has also been generated for me. There are several other functions available. While I'm sitting on the Adams Light Engineering record, from the Action menu, I can do things such as launch the contacts, make any amendments or create any new ones that I wish. I can launch the account record. Instead of going into sales processing and finding the account, it takes me straight to it. From the Action menu, I can also get into the credit rating and enter some key information for that particular account, such as the company registration number, credit rating, credit score, when was it checked, and any notes. I also have the ability to create customer-specific diary actions. When launching a new diary action, you can see on the form the various fields which are available to complete. So let's create an action for someone to contact the customer to discuss being placed on stop, and maybe to discuss further options and perhaps an action plan. I'll say it's a phone call out. It's for the manager, to be actioned on Monday. And the start time is going to be 10 o'clock, finishing at 10:15. Put some notes in there and click OK. So let's say that the finer details have been discussed. From the Action menu, I am going to edit that particular action, and the outcome from that particular phone call was that they have promised to pay $40,000. So just enter those details. And they promised that by the Wednesday. I'd like to do a follow-up on that, and the follow-up should be on the Thursday. And I am going to tick the alarm box. By ticking the alarm box, I'm invoking the notification integration. Let's click OK and save that away. Once saved, let's quickly switch to the notification services. So under Administration, under Scheduling and Messaging, from the list we'll take the latest action, and there is my message which has been pulled through from the diary entry I created within CMC. So let's look at the remaining options we have. These include having the ability to print the charts to clipboard, to a printer, or exporting the data to Excel. On top of that, you can also produce reports for the debtor letters, statements, diary actions, and promised payments. So let's have a closer look at the Transaction tab. Let's pick on Macintosh Valves Limited and double click. That should take us to the Transaction tab, which displays a transaction level view that lists the invoices that are overdue for payment for the selected customer account. You can only access this tab if one customer account has been selected and either the overdue accounts or over credit limit boxes are selected. The main interactive grid contains a list of invoices displaying various key elements of information. It offers the typical standard grid functionality we see throughout Opera 3, making it easy to copy the information into something like Excel. Also, there is zoom functionality, so if there is a PDF associated with an invoice, just by double-clicking on the actual transaction line, we'll bring up the PDF. There is a second interactive grid containing a list of actions for the selected invoice, with the option to include both outstanding and completed actions as well. Included in that is a label box containing any associated action notes. Then there is a host of contact information as well as the financial status details for the selected customer. This is for quick and easy evaluation. There are also easy to understand graphs displaying data such as a pie chart for the aged invoice debt, a bar chart for customer turnover for the previous 12 months, a chart displaying promised payments. From the Action menu, I can select one or more invoices, and once selected, I can go into Credit Control and I can toggle the dispute settings as well as change the due date. Let's put this invoice in dispute, select a reason code, and click OK. Don't forget that the standard functionality of creating a ledger note when an invoice is placed on or off dispute is also performed. This is also the case for statement runs and debtor letter creations. You also have the ability to zoom in on a transaction. That's the same functionality as we saw earlier with the double click, which allows you to zoom in on a PDF if it exists. If an invoice is on dispute, you can also launch the dispute reason code, and this will give you some key information about the dispute. You can also use the Action menu to create transaction diary-based actions. So if we go into New Action, you can see that it populates the customer field as well as the document number. We have the usual fields in order to complete the creation of this particular new action, and we also have the alarm option, which is the integration with notification services. So let's look at the remaining options we have. These include having the ability to print the charts to clipboard, to a printer, or exporting the data to Excel. We also have access to print the debtor letters, statements, diary actions, and promised payments. Let's take a peek at the Diary tab. The Diary tab offers a nice week-based view with a list of actions for the selected user which can be changed, with various options to include both outstanding and completed actions or actions that have been marked as alarmed. Don't forget you need appropriate access as set in the user profiles if you want the ability to see actions for a different user. The Diary view displays the current week automatically, though you can select a different week if required, or select only the days you are interested in. You can use the Action menu to create and edit diary actions, which are non-account and non-transaction based. As you can see when creating a new diary action, it leaves the account and document fields blank, but we have the usual suspects to fill in to create the new action. Again, we've still got the integration with notification services, if required, with the alarm toggle. We also have the ability to print diary actions with an option to export them to Excel if required. Thank you for taking the time to watch this short training video. Further information can be found in the F1 help, provider PDF guides, and the training manuals respectively.